अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आप देख रहे हैं किरण खान ऑफिशियल। हमारा प्रोग्राम है गेस्ट ऑफ द डे और मैं हूं आपकी होस्ट किरण खान। मेरे साथ जो आज मेहमान शख्सियत हैं उनका नाम है जाउमा फ्लाकेर।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। थैंक यू सो मच। जाउमा फ्लाकेर के बारे में आपको मैं इनका थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन कराना चाहती हूँ कि इन्होंने पीएचडी इस्लामिक स्टडीज़ में किया है और इस वक्त ये गरनाता में काम कर रहे हैं। इंटरफेथ जो डायलॉग है उसके ऊपर ये काम कर रहे हैं। तो आइए इनसे बात करते हैं।
As you have said, I'm working in interreligious dialogue and living now in Granada. I have been living in Barcelona for many years, working in interreligious dialogue here, and also being in touch, especially also with Pakistani community.
Okay, that's great. I want to ask you that why have you chosen the subject Islamic studies for your PhD?
Well, it is because anyone who has something to tell about God, anyone who has any experience and any knowledge about who God is something that is interesting for me. And so, as I am Catholic priest, and so I studied Christian theology at the Faculty of Theology, and then as I met some Muslims here in Spain, so I started to question and to want to know the other ways to approach to God. And so I started to ask Muslims, which is your view about God? And I started to read and then even to study, and it ended in a PhD. The subject was about a Sufi master, Spanish Sufi master in the Andalusian time, 13th century.
Yes, you did your thesis in Sufi master, Ibn Arabi.
Yes.
What was the reason of doing thesis about in Ibn Arabi, and how was it? How was your experience?
Yeah. Well, the reason was because the spiritual currents of all religions are really interesting. Normally they are not a kind of a way of a political way of approaching a religion. So it's not normally the mysticism, and they are not concerned about politics, but just about the experience of God and just about the revelation of God, how they understand God and how they understand revelation. And also because mystics, when they talk about their religion, it's always connected not just with ideas, but also with their experience and also with the heart. And this is something which is very important in Ibn Arabi, the question of the heart, because it's the heart for him and also for Sufism is a kind of Kaaba inside a human being. And as the blood is turning around the heart, also the pilgrims are turning around the Kaaba, and at the same time the angels are turning around the throne of God. So the heart is the part of human being that can understand the best God, because God is love. At least Christians, when we think about God, is the main name in Christian spirituality to talk about God is love, especially. Yeah.
Great.
And it was very interesting. It was quite hard because even Arabic is not easy at all. He wrote many pages, thousands of pages. His most important work is called Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyya, the openings of the revelations in Mecca.
Yeah.
And it took me many years, 10 years. Yeah.
Right. Okay. How many languages are you learning, or how many languages do you know?
Well, I know.
Do you speak?
Yeah, I speak Spanish, Catalan, French. These three are the best. Then English, of course, and then Arabic. And I can understand Italian, Portuguese, and I have some knowledge of Greek and Hebrew.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now you are working in Granada.
Yes.
So how is the experience, and in fact, what is the interreligious dialogue? Can you please explain?
Well, interreligious dialogue is when people coming from different religions, they want to sit together and to talk about their lives, about their beliefs, and when they want to collaborate to create an harmonious society. So in the interreligious dialogue, there are many different levels. There is a level of the life when you meet different people that they believe different things. You meet them at the school, at the market, in any place, and you start to talk about with them about many things, and this create a kind of friendship with them. This is a very simple, basic interreligious dialogue. Then there is another interreligious dialogue, which is another level, which is when religions and people from different religions, they want to create a world of peace. When the world needs, as we see, peace, it's very important that religions they cooperate, because many people in the world is a believer. So it is important that the religions be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem of humanity. So this is a kind of second level. For instance, here in Spain, this level is a kind of encounters of people, especially leaders, and they start to talk about the problems of the believers in the society and try to solve them. Then there is a third kind of interreligious dialogue, which is theological dialogue. This is not for all, just for people that know very well their own religion, and they have studied their religion. Okay. So these are the main levels of interreligious dialogue. Yes.
Okay. As in Barcelona, it's a multicultural city,
yes.
and a multi-religious city.
Yeah.
Like there are many people from different countries, not just in Barcelona, but in whole Spain.
Yeah.
So what do you think, how it can work here, like interreligious dialogue in Spain, and how can we apply it in Barcelona?
Yeah. Well, our society is really plural, and also there are a lot of people that they don't believe in any religion. They don't believe in God. So we have to work to create a harmonious society. And as of course, Spain has very deep roots in the Catholic tradition. There are also some roots of some other religions, especially Islam, because Islam was also in Spain, and also Judaism. But now with immigration and also with people that converted to other religions, especially Buddhism, there are quite a lot Spanish people that they became Buddhist. So, and with immigration, we can find in Spain, Barcelona especially, all kind of religions. So it is important for all to know the others, to know them well, and to appreciate them, and to see the others, and to tolerate, not just to tolerate the others, but also to appreciate the other religions. And if you appreciate the other religions, you are not to talk about the other religions in the same way as if you don't know anything, and what is even worse, when you just have a bad image of some other religions. So it is important to get to know the others through, especially most of the times, through friendship. When you have some friends that they believe in other religions, and they are friends to you, so you start to talk about their religions in some different ways, because if there is something that is, these are the main levels of interreligious dialogue, yes.
Okay. Islam is like not just Islam, but all the religions are, they teach peace and harmony in the society, right? But it's a rumor about Islam that Islam teaches terrorism, especially in Europe and in America, and Muslims are terrorists. And you have studied Islamic studies, and you did thesis and everything. You are also working on it. What do you say about it?
Well, of course, this is ignorance. Religions, they talk about peace. Then what humans, they do with their religions, this is another thing. One thing is their religion, and another thing is what many people say that their religions are. Even people that belong to those religions. And so it is very important to distinguish one thing and the other. Myself, I try to study and then to teach all the efforts that Muslim community has done, especially after 2001, and then more with Al Qaeda, and then more recently with Daesh. And so how the Muslim community has tried to prove, and not just to prove, just to demonstrate that Islam is not that. Islam is completely another thing. Right? One thing is Islam, and another thing is some people that they claim that they are Muslims. So this is another thing, of course, because in all religions you can find extremist and radicalism. These are two different things.
Especially the same is the case with the racism. Like it's increasing day by day in Europe, in America, and it's really, sometimes it's really difficult for the people to live with this racism in the country, in the society. And if we, it's just recent case in Paris that they have closed one of the mosques that they are teaching. They think that they are teaching the jihad and all that in the mosque. But what do you say?
Well, I would say that European culture is not at all racist. Now the European culture is a culture that welcomes everyone. There is a lot of immigration, and Europe has changed a lot. And because Europe has changed so much, is because they are people that they are afraid of living in a country that they no longer they feel identified with it. And so the fear creates a reject of the other. We have to work with it. I think the racism in Europe is a minority. It's a minority, and so we can say also that the radicalism in Muslim countries is a minority. It exists. So, which is important is that governments they don't deny that it exists, and they find intelligent ways to fight the racism. Yeah.
Okay, right. Now, in the younger generation is not very practical, and they don't believe in religions, in God or whatever the religion they have. What do you think about it?
Well, I think that when you don't believe in many times when you don't believe in God, many times, not always, but many times you start to believe in some little gods that they are not worthy to worship them. For instance, sometimes we treat the country, the language, the football, the desires as little gods, and all our lives is
focusing on that.
It's focusing on that, and well, especially the question of the desires, the personal desires. I think there is a problem of a European culture. That is that what I want, what I desire, is many times my absolute, and not God, and not the other, the needs of the other. Many times is my needs. This is my God. Well, for many people, and I think that this is a problem.
People say that we believe in humanity, not in religion. But do you think the humanity and religion is different thing? Religions also teach humanity. And what is the difference between humanity and religions if they say that they don't believe in religion or God, and they believe in just
I think that this expression comes from the idea and sometimes the experience of non-believers, the experience that believers they worship God, but they don't care what happens with their neighbor. So the people that are that can give to God all their life, but they are not able to give something to a poor people that is near them. So when believers, we do this opposition of loving God and loving the other, so this creates this idea that we have to believe in humanity and not to believe in God. If there is this contradiction, in some part is because of the believers, that sometimes we don't care about what happens to the other, the poor people, the injustice in the society, and we just care if of the injustice against religions, for instance. We don't have to do this opposition, we who are believers, and so the others will not do this opposition between God and humans.
Like in Europe, especially, immigrants, number of the immigrants is increasing day by day.
Yes.
And it's becoming a problem. Exactly.
Yeah, because the culture is changing. Normally, in any country where the culture changes so fast, normally in any kind of culture, there are some groups that they get afraid, and so they want to protect them against those who are changing the culture, and so they reject them.
The people who are coming from outside, right? From other countries.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is a question not just because here in Europe or in Western countries, it's all over the world.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Well, and so we have to know how to treat this. At the same time, people coming from another country, going to another one, and when he feels that he's losing his roots, and when the children they are losing the culture of their parents or their ancestors, sometimes the relations between the parents who are immigrants and the sons that are born in the new country, there are many problems, and these problems also is because of a kind of fear of the parents who are immigrants, that their sons they lose the culture and even the religion of their ancestors.
What would you like to give the message to the people who are coming from the other countries?
Well, my message would be that they are welcome, and they have to be patient, because the migration is very hard. It's very hard, and that I would say to them that they have to understand the problems of the society who is welcome them, the problems that the society of this new country, this society needs also some time to accept the transformation of the society and the culture, and so that the society has to be built by the natives and also the immigrants, and the result will not be it's not going to be nor the ancient society and nor the culture of the immigrants. It's going to be another thing, and everyone has to be ready to accept that the future of the society is going to be different, and that the immigrants, their children, are not going to be, and they cannot be the same as they, as the immigrants were in their original country. They are going to be different. And also the children of the natives, when they will encounter and to be friends of people, of the sons of the migrants, so they will be different also, because the society is going to change, and we have to be ready to accept, to tolerate, and because we are in a democratic society, and where the tolerance and the respect of the other is the pillar of the values here.
In the end, what message would you like to give to the people who are watching us, that like how can we improve our lives following the religions?
Well, I would say in all traditions, all religions, there are many texts of the past. I would say to stress and to get especially the text that talks about God, respect, humanity, because all these texts are inspired by God especially.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being with me, and thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you. It has been a real pleasure. Shukriya.
जी, आपने जौमा फ्लाकेर की बातें सुनी। आई होप कि आपको ये इंटरव्यू पसंद आया होगा और आपको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला होगा। देखते रहिए हमारी नेक्स्ट वीडियोस। हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, लाइक कीजिए और शेयर कीजिए। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।